Hudson County View live on Uncut. I'm your host. What you see is what you get, and what you don't is better yet. John Arhitis, and of course the latest and greatest in Hudson County news. So an unusual one out of Jersey City. The first case in not only the city, the county, but in the state of monkeypox is a probable case, was what the New Jersey Department of Health called it. So we're going to break that down for you and what it means. As of this moment, no other probable or expected cases, but we're going to talk about what that means. We're also going to talk a little bit about the New Jersey Attorney General's office releasing some police body cam and surveillance footage with an officer-involved shooting back on May 24th over on the west side, right in front of that BP gas station. That, of course, led to one person being killed. And we're going to obviously go over the details of what happened there. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the Mile Square City. And, of course, we're going to talk some Bayonne news as well. And today my guest is Hector Oseguera of the Progressive Democrats of Hudson County. All that and a little bit more once we come back from this break.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design studio and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Stevens Jersey City Ford, certified parts and service located at Route 440 and Communipaw Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
Hudson County View live on Uncut. John Arhitis, and as I mentioned a few moments ago, today I'm again joined by Hector Oseguera of the Progressive Democrats of Hudson County. Hector, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, same here. So look, let's talk about a couple weeks ago in the primary. Let's talk the 8th District seat. So obviously a seat that you're quite familiar with. Now, it was a really low turnout. I think we're just a hair under 9%, but nevertheless, Rob Menendez won pretty handily, about 84% of the vote, at least in Hudson. Maybe it was a little less in Essex, but not exactly a nail-biter. So what did these results say to you?
Well, certainly the ultimate result is what everybody expected, that Rob would win. What I'm more interested in are the low turnout numbers, which I think shows an erosion in the support for the mainline HCDO candidates. Obviously, you didn't have too much competition there. Rob took it, and I think everybody expected that ultimate result. But if you compare this primary to Albio's prior primaries, I think you'll see that the turnout is certainly collapsing in a way. And so that presents an opportunity for the progressives to make our case to the voters and give people a true alternative choice in their vote.
So of course there's this pending federal suit to try to abolish the line, as people call it. And of course that's the county organization line. It's typically column A, but it could theoretically be B or C as well. So let's just say that the thing comes to a head and you guys end up winning in time for the next election. You think you'll be backing a full slate of candidates?
Absolutely, and I think that that's sort of what we've learned over the last couple of election cycles, is that you really can't do it as an individual with the system that we have now. You have to come up as a slate, or else you'll always be a victim to the line. That's why this lawsuit is so important. Should this lawsuit go our way and the line is over, I think we'll be looking at a totally different political landscape here, and I think you'll certainly see a tremendous collapse and erosion in the support that HCDO candidates are able to take.
Now, in the event that it goes the other way, though, and the line is upheld, I mean, then what's the game plan from there? Any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we're operating under. So that's the default, is that this lawsuit continues into the future and we don't have a resolution in the short term. And what that entails is continuing to build the base, make sure that we are challenging in the prior elections. You know, when you and I sat down during the primary in 2020, I told you that I was trying to usher in a new age, a new era where in Hudson County, you would have competitive elections. And to the extent that the progressives have begun to solidify, I think you've seen that. You saw that in the county elections for the county committee. You saw that in Jersey City, where there were a healthy number of challengers. And you saw in this primary that there were more challengers than you tend to see, and people trying to put up a fight. I think that that's what you'll see into the future, is that any important election in Hudson County, you will see contested by a strong progressive candidate.
All right, so safe to say that these county committee races, the county commissioner seats, possibly even county exec, all ripe for the picking next year.
I think everybody should be focused on those races, and I think that's all that I'll say on that.
All right, fair enough. So let's go back to, well, once again, 2020, but actually now we're going to talk about the ICE protest. Obviously, you were there in the Heights a few times with a group of others, of course. And unfortunately, you were one of the ones that got arrested, and then this whole restraining order came. But now, finally, after, I'm going to say about 2 long years, it's been dismissed. So tell me about this whole saga and how you're feeling about it today.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. So knock on wood, I'm not sure if this is wood, that that suit ends the same way that the Line lawsuit ends, because it was a tremendous victory. Tom DeGise had me and a group of other activists illegally arrested, had this restraining order put in place that was a violation of our First Amendment rights to protest the government. When it was firefighters in front of Tom DeGise's house, he had his daughter send them lemonade or something to that effect. He didn't have them arrested. So we were able to show the people of Hudson County that if you organize against these powerful political operatives, you actually can have victories and you can change policy. What nobody really wants to talk about in that instance is that after our protest, the ICE contract was ended. And it was specifically because of the protests that we engaged in that the ICE contract was ended. And so I think that it was a tremendous victory for the progressives, and it certainly gives us a roadmap for how we're going to deal with other policy issues going down the line.
So some people from the establishment have said to me that, they didn't really cave to you guys. It was more they were following the political trends, like Joe DiVincenzo, Governor Phil Murphy. But I'm guessing you're not buying that.
I mean, I would say so. So we were pushing the political wins in a way, and so we got the victory. So of course they caved to us. They'd like to, shield that in a certain way and say, oh, we were following someone else, but that person they were following was following us. So who were they following? They caved to the pressure that we created.
Fair enough then. So what's next for you? I mean, obviously, you decided to, sit this one out and watch from afar. I mean, do you feel like a run for office is in your wheelhouse, maybe at some point in the foreseeable future?
Well, it's certainly something that I think about. The reason I sat this out is because I didn't see it as a viable project for myself. I recently had a daughter, and had I spent these last couple months campaigning against the ultimate winner in such a large margin rather than spending time with my newborn daughter, I would have felt terrible and would have been a total waste of my time. And so for anything into the future, I would say that I'm thinking about things seriously, and I would only do something if it felt right and if it felt like it was something that my community wanted me to do. I'm not going to just seek an office. I think a lot of people have that misconception that, and were surprised that I sat out this election because they expected that I had a fixation on a certain position. What I have a fixation on is bringing democracy to the people of Hudson County. And so that's what I'm going to continue to do. If at some point an elected position is something that makes sense, I'll certainly explore that. But at this time, what I'm really focused on is creating the landscape for progressive victories like we saw with the ICE contract, like we saw in some instances with the county committee races, like we saw to a certain extent in the Jersey City municipal races, and as I think we'll continue to see in other elections to come.
All right, very good, Hector. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to take another break. We'll be right back.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View, live at Uncut. John Arhitis is still here with Hector Oseguera of the Progressive Democrats of Hudson County. So, speaking of Democrats, as you know, the reorganization of the HCDO was last Tuesday, and as to no surprise to anyone who's been paying attention, it's the chairman of the Hudson County Board of Commissioners, Anthony Veneri. So first, just tell us about this choice. I mean, obviously you weren't a big fan of the prior chair, but I'm guessing that's not going to change, but I'd still like to hear your thoughts.
No, I think the change in chair is, again, very indicative of what we see in Hudson County politics. It's just a game of musical chairs. We have a new congressman, and some people who at some point had coveted that seat had to be placated. And so you've seen a change in certain positions across Hudson County. In West New York, you've seen a change. In North Bergen, a couple people have changed their positions. And this was really just a result of the same old political machine, game of musical chairs. If we're talking about Anthony Veneri specifically, he was one of the most pro-ICE commissioners, very happy to have that contract, and so obviously not happy with the choice. But again, no different than the prior chair, and probably the next chair will be something very similar. So what I would say is that it's very ironic. The prior chair was brought in to sort of say that the HCDO was going to bring in younger, more spirited people, and now we're going back to, shall we say, the old white man politics. And nothing changes. It's just a game of musical chairs in Hudson County.
Point taken. So now, the interesting thing about his speech, obviously his election was an afterthought and so on and so forth, as you just touched on. But the interesting thing was he started talking about the 2025 gubernatorial race. He said not only should Hudson have a seat at the table, they should produce the next governor. He said he'd be happy to support Jersey City Mayor Fulop in the event he's the declared candidate. So what's your take on this? The HCDO get this conversation moving already?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, it's something that was expected. We've seen rumblings of the gubernatorial race 25 already. I think intentions there are already well known, and this is just putting the train on the rail and trying to get it going. Honestly, we'll see. If I had $1 for every person who tells me that they know what's going to happen in Hudson County politics, I could have funded a campaign against Rob Menendez, but things don't always work out that way. So I'll be watching. I wouldn't put too much stock in what people think will happen. I'd rather just wait and see.
I hear you. We're 3 years out, so let's see. I mean, that's a few lifetimes. So,
Indeed.
With that said, let's move on to another issue that has been big for progressives over here at Hudson, the Liberty State Park, and this new conservation bill, as some have deemed it. So we know that it got through a Senate panel last week, and now it just got through an Assembly committee. And there was a lot of people that have spoken out against this. A lot of people want to preserve Caven Point. They don't want large-scale commercialization. And at the moment, though, it looks like proverbially staring down the gun because there's no amendments. It's clear 2 committees was headed to the full legislature. Your take on this?
Yeah, and I would say that nothing is done until it's done. So we're not going to give up on this. We need to preserve Caven Point as a natural habitat. When you're talking about a place like Hudson County that's so densely populated, one of the most valuable things you have is open space, which is what you have at Liberty State Park. That's why you have this billionaire really chomping at the bit to try to turn this into a golf course of some sort, to really turn it into a profit. But this is our wealth. This is the people's sort of enjoyment, and it's something that we need to preserve because we don't have a lot of places like Haven Point, Liberty State Park should absolutely be protected from any sort of commercialization. And I truly hope that those with the power to do something about it will come to their senses and make sure that Haven Point and Liberty State Park in general is protected from this sort of overdevelopment that we've all seen a lot of all across Hudson County.
All right, so as you know, progressives typically are big supporters of State Senator Stack, Union City Mayor Stack, but a lot of dissension on this one that they really don't agree with this introduction, as we just touched on for a moment. So, I mean, what do you think about how this all came to be in the Senate and the Assembly?
Yeah, and I wouldn't speculate as to how it came to be, but I do agree with you that, progressives, we don't play the buddy-buddy thing. We like you or not based on policy. And so to the extent that Mayor Stack has any support or has support amongst progressives vocally, I would say that it's for his stances on certain policies. This is an instance where people are saying, we don't like this decision and we hope that things would go a different way. And so, like I said, I hope that anybody with the power to do something about this will make sure that Liberty State Park is protected from overdevelopment. And we don't talk personalities as progressives. We talk on the basis of issues. We'll have a conversation on the issues, and to the extent we'll agree and to the extent we'll disagree, as long as everybody's open and clear about where they stand.
All right, case by case, I got you. So when we heard yesterday from, anyone ranging from Jerry Walker to Franklin Walker to Jerry McCann, they're saying we need active recreation, need to make this park more accessible. And, some people like Jerry McCann said this park needs to make a little money. What do you think of this take?
No, I mean, I'm completely against it. You can't turn everything into a commodity. There's got to be something in this world that we value for its beauty, for its splendor, not for how much money it can bring to us. This is the sort of corruption and rot that has come to our political system where everything is something to make a profit for somebody else, and it's never you. It's never going to be the taxpayers who benefit from this. This is to extract value from something that we collectively own so that one individual can make money off it, who will shower the other people that you've mentioned with political contributions. That's what we're talking about here. And that's why we see through that sort of rhetoric of, nobody is bird watching. There actually are a lot of people bird watching at Haven Point, a lot. There's a lot of natural splendor there that needs to be protected and preserved, because if we lose it, there's no going back. We're living on a planet that we're seeing the effects of overuse of profit at the expense of our natural beauty. And I think that most people here in Hudson County recognize that that's a problem and are not willing to accept that, well, if we make some money off of it, it's okay that we lose this natural habitat.
Got it. Hector, thanks so much for joining me. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. We're not done yet, though. We'll be right back.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintodevelopment.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, Your Highness. So let's get into a couple stories from this week. So the first one that we got a ton of interest when we posted this video, and I'm talking about the body cam and surveillance footage from the May 24th incident where a Jersey City police officer fatally shot a man. And we could see in these videos that he clearly grabbed a woman, put her in a headlock, and he appeared to pull a weapon. Obviously, the body cam footage is a little shaky. The surveillance footage is a little far away, but I think it's safe to say that he was holding a weapon. And I think that's further evidenced by the 911 calls that were also released. If you listen to the one call, a woman calls into the dispatch and says quite clearly that there's a man following me with a gun. So for those of you that maybe aren't completely up to date or maybe just forgot what happened here, Jersey City Police responded to a 911 call at 11:56 on May 24th. That was reporting a domestic dispute of a man with a gun near Communipaw and West Side Avenues. And the bottom line is Joseph Robertson, 59 of Jersey City, was shot and killed again after he put this woman in a headlock and appeared to pull a weapon. And the officer was identified as Omar Polanco, a 3-year veteran of the force. He has no use of force complaints or use of force reports against him according to the state database. So with that, I'm going to let you guys watch the video and we'll be right back.
Do it. Get the gun. I got it. Go. Block up the street. Send us yours over here. We need traffic. Get back. Everybody get back. Where's the gun? Where's the gun? He kicked it off. He kicked it. He just kicked it. All right. Go! Get out!
West side of Communipaw needs to be shut down. All units make your way.
Okay. Put your gloves on. Search it.
My sergeant,
I'm sorry. Move it. Put it in the car. We have to do CPR and shit, bro.
So not too much more to add, but it obviously looks like we're getting towards the tail end of this investigation, but that's still a pending investigation by the Office of Public Integrity and Accountability. So we're going to see what they come up with and whether or not this, gets some sort of result from a jury. So the only thing that I'll add is, interestingly, I submitted an Open Public Records Act request to the AG's office on May 25th. I was looking for the police body and dashboard cam videos, and they never replied, but they instead just did this press release the other day where press was able to request copies of the videos of the 911 call. So not really sure why that is, but that seems to be the way that they're doing business these days. So just a FYI for those of you wondering, since I had mentioned the request not too long ago. So let's talk just for a moment here about the Hoboken Municipal Supervisors Association. So last week, you guys will recall that I had on Councilman at Large Joe Quintero, and at the moment he told me that they were on the goal line in terms of getting this contract out and allowing them to have the Juneteenth holiday off. Well, it ended up working out. They did approve a contract, and they did have last Friday off, as did the rest of City Hall. So it appears that all is well that ends well in that Mile Square City story. So just wanted to make a quick notation of that. So with that, I think we're going to take one more break. We'll be right back.
Ford made their first all-electric SUV a Mustang. Rapid acceleration, reactive handling, 300-mile range. You control how it feels and how it sounds. It knows you. It dials into your preferred settings. It has an array of driver assist technology. Cameras and sensors enhance your awareness and provide you with additional control. But it's more than cutting-edge technology. It's the spirit of it. It's a Mustang.
Hudson County View, live at Uncut. So a couple more before we call it a week here, folks. So let's talk about this appeal out of the Peninsula City. And the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit upheld the dismissal of a former Bayonne employee's federal hostile work environment suit. That was actually on Tuesday. And this was Stacy Purcell. She's a former deputy registrar for the Bayonne Health Department who worked for the city for 15 years. In a nutshell, she alleged that Richard Sensulo, a former colleague, had used sexually suggestive language to her, and that Joe Wax, her ex-boss, had habitually used profane language in her presence, threw a pencil at her once, and had posted a sexually suggestive and misogynistic kitchen magnet near her workspace. The bottom line, the court upheld the federal decision, as I just noted, and we'll give you the rationale. So it's a kind of a long one, but I guess in simplest terms, after discovery concluded, appellees moved for summary judgment on all claims. District Court rejected Purcell's argument that appellees' failure to respond to a request for admissions and their alleged failure to move to withdraw or amend the constructive admissions precluded entry of summary judgment in their favor. So it's affirmed, and she says she's going to appeal, though, and I mean, you probably know that Stacy Purcell also has this pending quote-unquote sexting case against Mayor Jimmy Davis and the administration. That is supposed to go to trial in January of 2023. So, of course, the news of the day throughout the country today is this U.S. Supreme Court ruling. That's New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, Inc. versus Bruin. And this was about concealed carry and the NYSRPA 1. And quickly, I'm going to tell you what Rob Menendez had to say about this. He said, today's Supreme Court ruling in NYSRPA versus Bruin is an unprecedented, irresponsible, and dangerous decision by the extremist far-right majority on the court. Just as states like ours struggle to get guns off our streets, the court has opened the floodgates to allow more violence, more death, and more injuries in our cities and towns. The idea that in the most densely populated state in America, anyone with absolutely no common sense limits would be allowed to carry a concealed gun is stunningly irresponsible. He goes on, but I believe you get the gist of it. This is something that all the TV outlets and pretty much all the major outlets reported late this morning. And we heard from Governor Murphy already. He had a tweet thread about this, and he said, "We are carefully reviewing the court's language and will work to ensure that our gun safety laws are as strong as possible while remaining consistent with this tragic ruling." Many of you may have heard that the Assembly Judiciary Committee yesterday approved a package of gun safety laws that Murphy is supporting, and that's going to get heard by the Senate Law and Public Safety Committee today. So with that, we're going to call it. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.